Coming up, we discuss Walt Disney World's latest offers for the summer of 2026, and we talk about what Universal Orlando has in store for 2026 and why we don't think annual passes are coming anytime soon for Epic Universe. All that coming up this week on the Cue the Mats podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast that is now being named Cue the Mats. I'm going to really think of a better way to say that because I'm still thinking of the theme park land brain in there. But yes, welcome to the first episode of the Cue the Mats podcast. I'm your host, Matt Dobrovolsky, joined as always by my amazing co-host, Matt Rogers.
Hello, everyone, celebrating episode 1.
He was waiting so long to be able to open up that can of tea.
It's an Arnold Palmer Light, but it's tea. It's not booze.
Yes. Let's preface by saying that's
now,
not booze.
I did go to Chili's yesterday, and their drink of the month at Chili's is the Resolution Breaker margarita.
Yeah, I know why it's called the Resolution Breaker.
I love Chili's so much. We're gonna do a mini review on Chili's real quick while we're at it.
Oh my god! We're a theme park based podcast, and we're talking about
Chili's.
But
everyone who works in the parks here, they go to Chili's. And
that's
it's amazing.
True. Yeah, and I mean it's good food at a good price.
Okay,
so.
well, it's decent food at a good price.
I've had some pretty good food there.
Okay, but to all of you, if you don't know. If you sign up for Chili's Rewards, you get 1 free chips and salsa.
Every time you visit?
No, just the first time.
No?
No.
Every time I go there, I'm getting free chips and salsa with that rewards program. Have you not been in on this? Yes, every time you go, as long as you have the rewards, you always get a free chips and salsa every single time you go.
I love Chili's so much. I love it. I love it. Oh my god. So I went yesterday and I had a triple dipper and it did not disappoint. And the Resolution Breaker margarita was very good, although I never made the resolution not to drink because I am not capable of that. So it did not break my resolution.
Oh my gosh. Were you also one of those people that was crying at Orlando Airport on New Year's Eve when they closed the upstairs Chili's?
No.
There were so many people that were upset about that. They were like, oh my god, they're closing it. It's so iconic. How is it iconic? It's because you take an escalator up there. What? Because you take an escalator up to Chili's, that's why we're so upset about this?
Anyways, welcome to episode 1 of Cue the Mats.
Yes, well, welcome into the new name of the podcast. We did discuss this last week, or last year, I should say.
Was it last year? No,
yeah,
it was last week.
Year. Yeah, but it was New Year's Eve. Ha-ha.
Was it New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
I
know, a lot has changed over a week. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a great new year so far. I know we are. I don't know about Matt.
Oh, man.
I'm looking forward to vacation in 2 weeks, so that's...
Where are you going?
Every single time...
It's a cruise. It's always a cruise.
It's always a cruise. Because that's the best vacation.
Anyways.
A cruise is always the best vacation.
Anyways, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? Well, the first thing...
Oh, there's some news.
Yes. Well, yes. Yeah.
I see it on your notes.
Yes, you see it on my notes. First thing that we're going to be discussing are these new offers that just came out for Walt Disney World for this summer, 2026. And your standard discounts have come out as per usual. You can save up to 30% off of rooms for the general public, 35% if you're a Florida resident, and 40% if you're an annual pass holder. But one of these deals that kind of struck me, because this is semi-new, 2 free days onto your ticket if you purchase a 4-day ticket or longer, 4 to 8 days, and 2 free nights for your hotel, in addition to the 2 free days on your ticket if you are booking a Walt Disney Travel Company vacation package. From what I'm gathering with this, it seems like they're a little desperate for the summer again. You see something differently.
I'm not an alarmist, but this might cause some alarm. The last time Disney did offers like this was in 2008, and that's the start of a really big recession that happened.
Right.
So Disney is very prepared. They are preparing to continue to do business during a major recession.
Right.
So there you go.
But do you see this as, we don't really have anything truly big for the summer, and we're trying to make sure that people are coming to us too, versus Universal, because we're going to talk about it in just a few minutes, but Universal is still going to ride strong on the high of Epic Universe.
I think ticket pricing is very much in tune with economic trends over new additions and marketing.
And mind you, this is only a promo right now. This is not like the new ticket.
No, but they can extend promos if they need to. So I prepare for the future. Yeah.
Do we think Universal could be doing something like this?
They tend to follow Disney, but these theme parks will do whatever they need to do to stay in business.
Because to be honest, I don't see Universal doing this until they see the demand slip down for Epic Universe.
They will do what they need to do.
Right. Also, too, another thing that's also coming back with this is your on your check-in day to your hotel, you get the water parks for free again. I mean, honestly, that's a nice idea.
They've been doing that for a while.
But they've stopped it right now. And I think it's just because, Blizzard Beach is still closed and it's just typhoon right now.
Well, it's also not summer.
Right. It's
so...
you're crazy if you're going to...
In the spring, it might start up again. It probably will if the economic trend they're predicting follows through. Then they would definitely do that again.
Yeah. I mean, do I see this becoming like a staple? No. I think the timing says something, because this is valid for ticket start dates from May 26th, Memorial Day weekend, through September 15th of 2026.
Yeah, they did this to keep people coming in the 2008 recession.
But this is also... But how long were they doing this during the 2008 recession?
I don't know.
Were they doing this just for the summer to make sure that they got people in for the summer?
I don't remember how long that recession lasted. But
I mean, gosh, we were in high school.
Yeah, but...
We just knew that the economy was trash.
But like I said, these theme parks will do whatever they need to do to keep people coming into the gates and spend money in the park.
Well, but I mean, that also holds true for the summer as well. The summer is always the kind of make it or break it time frame for the theme parks. When we talked about this last year, where, Disney was pushing a lot of this stuff for the summer when Epic Universe was opening, because we all thought that they were getting worried that Epic Universe was going to take market share away from Disney.
Oh, Disney is never worried about any competition whatsoever. It's not in their nature.
Right, and they never have, which is, I don't know, I've always said that that's concerning to me. It is concerning because you have these people that vacation here. Most people can vacation on average for maybe about 5 to 7 days. Okay? And I think we've talked about this. In years past, when I was a kid, we'd come down here on a vacation. We'd spend a week at Disney, but we'd also take one day and go over to Universal. Okay? Universal's trying to flip that idea, I think. They want people to stay with them and spend the majority of time at Universal and then spend one day at Disney. If I was Disney, I'd be worried about that. Because that's what they're trying to do with adding more of these hotels, adding Epic Universe.
Disney doesn't see themselves in the theme park industry. They see themselves in the storytelling industry.
It's an interesting
No, if you listen,
thing. Yeah.
if you listen to all the D23 announcements and the way they talk about it and the way they talk about their company and the way they operate as a company and their theme park division, I've seen so many examples where just having worked there and been worked at Disney and seen things, I have seen several examples where they have a problem, okay? And they need a solution to it. And then there's a company somewhere else in the industry that has that solution. There's a third party that has that solution and has it as a product. And all Disney has to do is buy it and install it. And it's done. And it costs less. But Disney will not do that. They will engineer the solution themselves. And they will do it themselves. And because they're engineering it, they will do it. And it will be better than anybody else's. Even though it won't be, and it won't work as well, it'll have to be better, and they'll do it. They'll make it better because it has to be, because they're engineering it. The greatest example, I think,
that's always been the notion of Walt Disney Imagineering to a perspective.
But not even that. No, the greatest example I can think of is the virtual queue system. Okay, look at the way Volcano Bay operated with virtual queue.
Look at the way Hagrid did too.
Volcano Bay. When you put an entire park on virtual queue, it works. Okay? But it has to be the entire park. Okay? When you do it for just one ride, it does not work.
I see what you're saying there. So what you're saying is that when they had Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind on virtual queue, if the rest of Epcot was on virtual queue.
Not even that. If, say, Hollywood Studios, for example, okay? When Rise of the Resistance was on virtual queue, if they would have said, okay, we'll do virtual queue for Slinky, Runaway Railway, Rise. And yeah, just those three. And you do about 4 different drops a day. At each drop, you're forcing the demand for that one attraction to split 4 ways. Instead of,
because what you're saying is that if there was a 9 o'clock drop for those, you'd have to choose between Slinky, Runaway, or Rise.
Right. And it wouldn't be everybody in the park trying to get just one ride at the same time.
Right.
You're forcing the demand to split.
Because that was always the problem with Rise with virtual queue, was that in its early days, everyone in the park wanted to ride it, no matter what.
Yeah.
But the capacity couldn't handle it, especially in those earlier days when capacity on Rise was trash.
Now, so this is really hard to explain unless you watch the Fast Pass video from Defunctland and you really understand the mechanics of how Fast Pass, virtual queue, that kind of stuff works.
Just capacity in general.
But the idea is, with virtual queue, you cannot have just virtual queue for one attraction in your park, because everyone's trying to get it, and that one ride cannot carry an entire park. Unless
the capacity is high enough.
Which, unless it's Kilimanjaro Safaris, it's not happening.
Right.
It's not happening.
And I remember when I used to work Rise during those earlier days of the virtual queue, I'd have to explain that to people. I'd have to explain saying, look, Rise's capacity is in no way, shape, or form able to take on the entire park's attendance. There is no ride out there, with maybe the exception of Omnimovers, so I'm talking Haunted Mansion, Little Mermaid, Seas with Nemo and Friends, stuff like that, or Kilimanjaro Safaris. Kilimanjaro Safaris is a prime example that on a average day at Animal Kingdom, and correct me if I'm wrong since you've done this, Kilimanjaro safaris could take the entire park's capacity. Twice?
2 times.
2 times.
On average, it could carry the entire park twice.
So, on an extremely busy day, let's say...
Oh, yeah. On the busiest days at Animal Kingdom,
yeah.
It will carry the entire park easy.
Yeah. Those attractions are very far and few to come by. When you have something like Rise of the Resistance, where they're marketing this as the next generation ride, okay? And next generation of storytelling, okay? Something that everyone wants to do. But, they put it in that fine print. Cannot accept every single guest at the park in that day.
So going back to the virtual queue and the mechanics of it, the more attractions you have on a virtual queue, the better the virtual queue experience. So a great example, Volcano Bay, and we know virtual queue is gone now from Volcano Bay, but the idea with Volcano Bay is all the slide complexes had the virtual queue system. If it was more than like a 10-minute wait, you would have to get a return time. If it was usually less than a 10-minute wait, you could just go right in.
Right.
Now, you could only have one return time at a time. But if there was another attraction that was not utilizing the virtual queue at that moment, you could just go right in.
Right.
Now, if every attraction had a wait, there were certain other attractions that had unlimited capacity. For example, the Lazy River, the Fast River, and the Wave Pool.
Yep.
So, how does this translate to other parks? Hollywood Studios. Every ride would be on the virtual queue. If the ride wait is over 15, 20 minutes, you start issuing virtual queue. Okay? If they catch up on virtual queue, you just let people come in again. Okay? So, Rock and Roller Coaster, a great example of this is as soon as like the lobby would fill, that's when you start doing virtual queue. And you start calling it back in a few minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Once you catch up on virtual queue, then you can just let anybody in, whether they have a virtual queue or not. So you kind of pick your points at every ride of your threshold of where you issue virtual queue and where you don't. And then the infinite capacity attractions, the Experience Now things, are the shows. Right?
True. Yeah.
And between the shows and the attractions, there's likely to be 1 or 2 other rides that are probably not going to be utilizing virtual queue at any one time. Star Tours would be a great example.
Right.
Of that.
I think if what you're saying, hypothetically, we were to make Hollywood Studios attractions virtual queue, Star Tours and maybe Alien Swirling Saucers would probably be the only ones that would be a ride now. Right. In that time. Because... And it's hard to tell because of how complex Studios has become. Because Studios is primarily, all their rides are essentially e-tickets to a point. The only non-e-ticket ride I would say over there would be Alien Swirling Saucers.
As long as you had the show capacity to do it, it would still work.
Right.
Now,
but you have to reel these people in with those shows. I think the shows, in my opinion, at Hollywood Studios have gotten so old that people just don't want to see them anymore.
If you're in the middle of if you're waiting on a virtual queue and you're there in the summer and there's indoor air conditioning or a shade, are you going to take it? Right, you will. Now, in a park like Magic Kingdom, how does this work? Magic Kingdom doesn't have shows.
Magic Kingdom just has enough attractions.
That's right. There's so many attractions, and so many of them are high-capacity attractions. There is always going to be something you can just walk in and do. It might be Carousel of Progress. It might be Country Bears. Thunder Mountain Railroad is a really high-capacity ride.
True.
It might be that, if they're caught up. And it'll change throughout the day. But that's what the app is for. It's like Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay, when it worked really well. There were days where the park was a little bit too crowded, I think.
I think Volcano Bay it worked well because of how busy the park was. Compare the attendance numbers. I don't know what their actual attendance numbers are off the top of my head, but they're significantly less than what a theme park would be.
Yes, but the reason that is because slides have much lower capacity than an e-ticket ride.
Right.
So you're doing the same thing. You're just scaling it up. You're scaling up the amount of people in the park, but you're also scaling up the capacity of the park to compensate.
Yeah.
So it really works.
Because this is also a prime example of why Rise of the Resistance is actually going under a refurbishment out in Disneyland, I think starting next week, if I remember my dates correctly. And I see all over social media, wow, they can take it down for refurbishment out there, but they can't take it down
There's
for
so many
refurbishment
attractions in
Hollywood Studios.
Disneyland.
Exactly. They cocould close Rise of the Resistance in Disneyland, and it's not going to affect the demand of the park and the flow of those guests.
It's not even that. If I went to Disneyland and I wasn't able to ride Rise of the Resistance, even though that would have been my first time going on that attraction, would it have been kind of disappointing?
A little bit,
yes.
but not a lot.
But think about
so
all
many
the other rides at Disneyland I was able to experience.
Right. Now, if you closed Rise of the Resistance and Indiana Jones, for example, and maybe even like Pirates...
Yeah, we start getting a little pissed off.
Yeah, we get really ticked off now.
Okay,
but Hollywood Studios is a completely different ballpark. You have... Hollywood Studios doesn't have that many rides to begin with. You close just one of those, and it can mess up the park. It can just mess up the demand of the park. And, a lot of people will say, oh, I didn't get to do enough rides today. I feel like I was kind of, gypped out a little bit.
How did we start talking about virtual queue?
I don't know. We just really went off
this
on a
brings
tangent
us
here.
into our kind of main topic of the day. We're going to talk about Epic Universe.
Yes. Well, just to close off with those offers and everything. Yes, these are offers.
I have no idea how we got on virtual queue.
That was a true tangent. Anyway, these new offers, like I said, they will kick in Memorial Day weekend, and they're running through September 15th. Highly recommend if you're trying to come out here for the summer, definitely look into those offers because these are some pretty good offers that can't be beat. Anyway, moving on to our big topic.
We were going to talk about Epic Universe.
Right.
And our annual pass is going to be available soon. Are they not? Why? And what we were saying about park capacity, we think is a lot of the reason why we might not see annual passes anytime soon.
So, I mean, this brings in like a huge topic of what Universal is planning for 2026. We mentioned it earlier that I think Universal is going to be riding on the high still of, we've got a brand new theme park. Come out here and check it out. I think that's definitely what they need to be doing. They spent billions upon billions of dollars investing in this theme park. They need to show the return on investment with it. But
Matt, ask me why I don't think Epic's going to have annual passes anytime soon.
Matt, why do you think Epic Universe is not going to have annual passes anytime soon?
Well, let's see. There's no annual passes allowed into the park right now, and the wait time is 225 minutes for Minecart Madness, 80 minutes for Bowser's Challenge, 35 minutes for Yoshi. Wolf is a 75-minute wait. Monsters is a 45-minute wait. Ministry's 210. Stardust is 45. Hiccups Wind Gliders is 60. And the Carousel is only a 20-minute wait. But, imagine if there was a bunch of pass holders in that park right now.
But
it can't handle it.
We've talked about this. I think we're the pass holder minority that if we were allowed to go into the park...
Just imagine 200-minute wait and Minecart Madness.
Yeah,
the ride is
guys,
too
it's
short.
not worth it. It's not worth it.
I'm sorry, continue.
We're, I think, in the minority of we just want to be able to go into the park, walk around, maybe do the shows if we wanted to, maybe doing monsters if it was a shorter wait than 45 minutes.
No, I want to go on the rides.
So
you're in the minority.
I'm in the minority, I guess.
If I'm going into this park, I'm going to ride these damn rides. They're amazing.
We've talked about how, we would love to just be able to go there for dinner one night if we wanted to. Dining at the amazing Blue Dragon restaurant that we've had, and maybe even trying the Atlantic because we haven't tried the Atlantic yet. Okay? But we've also had this idea that, the days that we go there however frequently it may end up being when we have annual passes. We don't know where the heck we would eat because of how many good places
I'm
there
looking
are
at
for
the
food.
Atlantic menu right now because I'm very interested.
So we would have this discussion every single time we go saying, where do you want to eat? Not necessarily because things are bad, but because things are good. We can't have that yet because we still don't have an annual pass option. Now, big topic of discussion, do we think that Universal is working on the beginning phase of an annual pass and how that may be available to the local crowd so they still do not have to buy a single day ticket into the park? Well, it's very evident that ever since Epic opened, that there has been the demand of the park. How can Universal get locals in there without having to buy a single day ticket? Well, if you look, the next time you're ever at Epic Universe, look as you walk into the portals. Look as you enter Stardust Racers. Look as you enter the carousel. There are outlets in the ground that they can easily plug into for mobile ticketing. So meaning, what if we were to see an after 5 option of being able to go into at least Celestial Park, walk around, have dinner at the Blue Dragon or the Atlantic if you can get a reservation. You'll also be able to eat at Meteor Astropub, because that will be open. We also have Pizza Moon. We have Oakenstar Tavern out there. We also have the new restaurants that'll be opening this year that I don't know really the firm details about it, but I know it's like a Mexican-Italian food court thing or whatever.
I'm having a lot of thoughts on this right now, and I think the biggest issue... You said Astropub, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a very big dining venue.
I would disagree. I think it's
not.
It's big enough if the park was open to just the attendance of the day. But if you were to try and allow all locals in, like a city walk kind of aspect, it could suffer a little bit, I think, in the beginning. Keep in mind, Meteor Astropub also has a mobile order pickup window outside. Kind of what Minions Cafe has in the Studios Park. So you could easily tell people, hey, you could easily go wait in line or go wait for a table with your mobile ordering, or you can just mobile order and pick up right there at the window. I think if it's anything like Minion Cafe, you are limited in the food offerings versus going inside.
I think the best chance we will see for an annual pass-ish add-on for this park, if the wait times get to a point where in the evening the wait times are going down, because the park's open until 10. Okay,
Right.
the park is open until 10 every day. Okay, I think if you get to a point where like at 6 the wait times are starting to go down significantly and they stay down, which we kind of see a little bit outside the holidays.
But still
if
not
that
enough
trend-
for those
no, but
popular ones. Though.
Yeah.
Ministry and
Right,
Donkey Kong don't
right.
see a drop.
But if those two are able to go down a little bit more and it's able to get a little more consistent in the evening, maybe there will be like an annual passes can come in after 5 with a reservation.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely
Because
see...
you don't want these pass holders to storm the gates
Right.
at 5 o'clock in the evening.
I definitely see some form of a reservation coming. At least in the earlier days when passes...
It would have
or
to be
they would
throttled.
strategically release them. So I think
It would have to be throttled.
the premier pass holders would be able to purchase an Epic add-on first, then go down to the preferred, then go down to the whatever the next level is. Is that power or whatever it is? Because they got the 4 types or whatever. They would just go down gradually in that case, depending on and I've said this before, how much you price it at. If you tell someone $500 for an Epic annual pass, someone like me, I'll buy it in a heartbeat. But what if you could control the demand with the price?
I don't know if you can necessarily get away with just doing Celestial.
Well, but that would be available complimentary, because that would be open as a City Walk aspect.
I don't think we're going to see that.
You don't think so? You don't
No.
think if Universal said you're allowed to, as a local, because obviously that's who we're marketing to, you can come in, dine at the Blue Dragon, dine at Atlantic, provided that you can get a reservation, and then still walk around Celestial Park if you wanted to.
I think
maybe they could control it by requiring reservations for Blue Dragon or Atlantic.
I think what's going to happen. Well, so like when you talk about the plug and play ability to have ticketing at the portals, I envision that being utilized for buyouts of the lands.
Oh, 100%.
Right? That's what I think it's most likely to be used for.
And we're talking years down the line, because you can't tell people Dark Universe is closing at 6 o'clock right now for a private buyout.
History repeats itself. Universal has done this before. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. The original idea and the original way the gates were set up to get into that queue.
They wanted it available just
for City Walk. They wanted it available for City Walk. It never happened.
And I think you would pay like a couple of bucks or something like that to go on it if you wanted to, if you didn't have a day ticket. But I don't think that really worked just because nobody really cared about Rip Ride Rocket that much.
Allegedly, it was due to the technical needs of the ride, to the maintenance needs of the ride. They just weren't able to support the operating hours for it.
That makes sense.
And that's why it just never happened. But I think it's there in case, but at this point I kind of doubt it's going to be used for I think separate admission to each portal.
Right. I think the question would truly lie in how many locals, because obviously, again, this is appealing to the locals, this is not appealing to really anyone else. How many locals truly want to go to Celestial Park in the evening? Maybe to just walk around, shop, get some food there.
I think
because the problem with the shopping is that a lot of this merchandise now is available at the North Campus, especially with the addition of the Nintendo store now up in City Walk.
I think annual passes are going to be next year after we get another attraction on North Campus. i.e. the new roller coaster for Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, that replacement. Right. I think when that opens, we might get an annual pass add-on at Epic. I think it's going to be next year. I would be very surprised if it's this year.
Right. I would be very surprised, especially since how they've continued on the one-day ticket discounts for annual pass holders.
I think right now the attention is on Epic. I think the idea is maybe try and get the attention back at North Campus for a minute, and then you can open up a little more things at Epic.
What do you think?
Like a more, you can open up higher attendance at Epic at that point.
What do you think is the ratio of attendance right now?
What do you mean?
At Epic Universe, meaning how many people are buying a single day ticket or those multi-day tickets that include Epic Universe versus the annual pass holders that are buying those special one-day discounted tickets? Because I have a feeling that is probably like a 95% to 5%.
Like annual passes, nobody's going?
Right. I don't see how many people are actually going out there buying consistently, at least. I mean, in the beginning, annual pass, those annual pass one-day discounted tickets, people were buying
Social media tells you otherwise.
Really?
If you look on TikTok, there's people on TikTok who keep going.
How many of those people are actually buying those tickets? How many of those people are getting in courtesy of team members?
Who knows?
Because I see that too. I see a lot of people going to Epic, but I've only seen that ever since they allowed team member complimentary tickets to be able to be used at Epic Universe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because I think that's the big thing here, is that until we see the drop, and I don't know if we'll ever see this drop, of the tourists, the vacationers, not wanting to go to Epic Universe, we're not going to see an annual pass option anytime soon.
They need more attractions.
They do. They 100% do, because especially when you have something like Donkey Kong that is still getting consistent 3 to 4 hour waits. You know, you were talking about the wait times and everything. We can take a look at the wait times over at Disney, or even the North Campus for that matter. The wait times across the other theme parks here in Central Florida are not correlating at all to what Epic Universe is. And I think it's just because still of the demand that is there for Epic Universe, and the fact that they just don't have enough things to do.
It could be worse. It could be Animal Kingdom next month.
True. I'm very curious to see what happens with Animal Kingdom when, you know, Dinosaur is a huge capacity attraction for...
They're not going to knock down admission for that park, are they?
What, the conservation mission?
No. Like, the cost of a ticket for Animal Kingdom, they're not knocking that down,
probably
are
not.
they?
Probably not.
What a ripoff.
But you know what's sad?
What?
You know what's sad? People will still buy it. People will still buy it.
That's crazy, honestly.
Epcot is a $211 was a $211 ticket for a one day on New Year's Eve. Did people still want to buy that? Yes, they did. Were they aware of the 4-hour wait for Guardians? Were they aware of the 3-hour wait for Soarin'? The 3-hour wait for Ratatouille and the 2+ hours for Frozen? No, I don't know.
Now, you know what's wild about this virtual queue business we were talking about earlier? So, when you talk to guests and ask them about this, you ever, like, when you talk to the average guest, they'd rather just wait in the line.
Which is fascinating.
Like, functionally...
They're okay with waiting that 4-hour wait for
because,
Donkey Kong.
functionally, having an entire park on virtual queue does work, and it works well. But when you talk to the guests, they'd rather just wait in the line.
Right.
Because it's different. It's just different. That's
right.
why.
That's especially evident if you look at Tokyo Disney. For God's sake.
They're crazy.
I saw the other day, they were waiting a 380-minute wait for their version of Soarin'. Over 6 hours for Soarin'?
What the hell?
If I ever say I want to wait 6 hours for Soarin', shoot me in the face, because I've clearly lost my mind. But yet, you're correct. There are people out there that are willing to do this.
They just rather wait in a line.
I don't... Why would someone want to wait 4 hours in that line for Donkey Kong when they can clearly see right there what that ride is? They can see, oh, it's a fun little roller coaster. Okay. Are they just not really paying attention to that wait time? I see these TikToks of these people that they're probably still about 200-300 people back from the loading area in Donkey Kong. And they said the wait time was 3 hours, but it ends up being 5 hours because of a delay. Why are you still in line?
First of all, I wouldn't get in the 3-hour line. Second,
but why would you? You can clearly see what that ride is. But people have this mentality that waiting 4 hours for Donkey Kong is worth it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about it. The only reason why that line is so long is because of its capacity. And there's no way to fix that. The only way they're going to be able to fix it, and you've talked about this, is building another Donkey Kong Minecart Madness right next door.
It will only get better. But Animal Kingdom next month is going to be really bad.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to have Navi River Journey, Flight of Passage, the Zootopia show, Safaris, Cali River Rapids, Everest.
But I'm also a firm believer that Animal Kingdom is more than just its attractions. But the problem is that the majority of the public does not understand that. You can have a full day in this park. Okay?
It gets
If
hard
you're
with
willing-
Dinoland closed.
If you're willing to see both of the shows and go through the treks and trails and go to Conservation Station. If you're only going in there to ride the two things in Pandora, Kilimanjaro, Everest, maybe Kali, and
there's
maybe Zootopia.
zoos that have more things to do.
I disagree. I think
There are literally zoos that have more things to do.
there is so much to still do in that park, but you have to be willing to do that. The average person that comes to Animal Kingdom does not understand that there's more things to do than just rides. It's the same thing that you see at Epcot, too. Epcot has more than just the rides. Wandering around the pavilions of World Showcase, discovering the cuisine, exploring and shopping over there, seeing the entertainment, seeing those attractions that are out there, too. But people still say, where are the rides? Where are the rides? I think that is always the problem that you will have in that case with the average tourist that comes to Disney World. They want to go to Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios because rides. They don't understand Epcot. They don't understand Animal Kingdom because it's not just about the rides. Yes, there are rides there, but it's not just about the rides. And I see that too with Epic Universe. Yes, there are amazing rides there. There are amazing rides. But to me, to someone that loves the design of that park, I could just sit in Celestial Park for about an hour and just people watch and just sit and enjoy, listen to the music, watch the fountains, especially on a nice cool day like this.
That New Year's Eve show looked really cool, by the way.
But that was the only New Year's Eve thing that Epic did, right?
Yeah.
They didn't really have anything else special.
No.
Yeah. But apparently it wasn't that busy later on into the evening. And that was the thing. I guess more of the tourists went back up to the North Campus.
That City Walk has a big celebration every year. City Walk does a big event every year.
Mm-hmm.
And at North Campus, they had fireworks in both parks this year. Which
Right, we were talking about that last week.
Yeah, Iowa hasn't had fireworks in a long time.
Because I don't recall ever seeing fireworks barges in the lagoon at Islands.
A long time ago.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I think it's been before I moved here.
Long time ago.
But I think Epic is, look, Universal for 2026, they're still going to ride the high of Epic Universe. Do I see annual passes? I agree with you. I still don't see them coming anytime soon. Not until we see the demand drop a lot more for that park. Because those wait times that you showed earlier, those are the same as it was just a few months ago.
We're in off-peak right now, too.
Right.
So.
Right, because I was saying that is that, you look at the wait times at Disney and heck, even the North Campus, and those do not correlate to what Epic is getting.
No.
Do I want an annual pass? Yes, please. I really want to go back. I miss it so much. I miss that place so much. We may be going there at the end of the month, though.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
I'm desperate to be back in that park. I also do hope that we can see some sort of an annual pass option, or maybe even like a, now that I'm thinking of it, what if they could create like an after 4 ticket or something like that, especially if they're always going to be open until 10?
If that demand starts tapering off in the evenings, I could see it.
Yeah. But that's only if the demand tapers off.
You were talking about dining earlier. I don't ever think we'll see a dining pass specifically. Universal used to do that. For example, if you made a reservation at Mythos, you could go in without park admission for about it was, you had a 4-hour limit.
Oh, God. When did they ever do that?
This is like 2000s.
Yeah.
But, so what happens is you would put a credit card down.
How would they be able to track to know that you left the park then?
So what you would do is you would go to guest services. Before entering the park, you go to guest services and be like, hey, I got a reservation at Mythos. Okay? And they would be like, okay, you'd use a credit card which they would keep on file. And you had 4 hours to come back to them. So you would go in.
I see that being so problematic.
You would go in, you would eat, you would bring your Mythos receipt out. You'd be like, hey, we want the Mythos, here's our receipt. And okay. You just check in with them. Then they wouldn't charge you for admission.
What if the line was so long at guest services?
It's tentative, but you know what I mean. Like,
then again, back in the 2000s,
but people weren't playing the system like that. But and if you were there for more than 4 hours, or if you came out without the Mythos receipt,
then you'd have to pay for the full price.
They would have your credit card on file, so they charge you for admission.
Good
for everyone in your party.
I don't see that working in this day and age.
It's not gonna nothing like that's ever gonna happen again. Well, Epcot used to have the
they had the annual pass that was
they
after
used to have
4 o'clock.
After 4.
Yeah. And honestly,
so that wasn't specifically for dining. You could do anything with it, but
that is something that I really wish would come back. I think there were a lot of locals out there that would have loved that to come back. Now, granted, I think back in the day of the Epcot after 4, that didn't include parking. And I think that was one of the reasons why it kind of failed a little bit, just because people said, why would I buy this when I could just buy at least the Pixie Dust Pass?
Yeah, that's really dumb.
That gets me parking.
That's really dumb. It should have included parking.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you come in after 4. The passes cater to those who want to dine in Epcot in the evening, right?
Right.
Yeah, you say you don't have to pay for parking, right? Parking is included, and you come in after 4. What's the worst thing you're going to do in a park? Spend money?
Yeah. Exactly. That was the goal of that ticket, was to get locals to come out and say, hey, if you want to come over here and have dinner one night, you can.
I remember pre-COVID, pre-Six Flags acquisition, all the Cedar Fair parks actually did an after 4 ticket.
Interesting.
Yeah. All the Cedar Fair parks used to do an after 4 ticket. This is like in the 2000s too.
Yeah.
But it was like after 4 o'clock, it was like, I want to say it was like 50% off. It was like 40% off admission or something like that. Or it was 60% off admission. Like,
I don't think it should ever be something like that. I think it should be, this is what you pay. It shouldn't say like...
Well, it wasn't like a percentage, but it was significant. There was an evening price.
Right.
So
I think Tokyo still does it too, because I think Tokyo has like 3 different levels or something like that, where it's like the full day ticket that gets you in starting at opening. Then you have one that gets you in, I think, starting at like 1 or 2. And then they have another ticket that gets you in 5 o'clock onward or something like that. But Tokyo parks close at 9 o'clock. So that 5 o'clock ticket was only literally good for 4 hours. But then again, so was the Epcot pass. If that Epcot after 4 pass was back, that was only 5 hours in the park.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's definitely some market value for those discounted tickets later in the evening.
Now, let me ask you this. If you as a local wanted to be able to go to Epic Universe just in the evenings, if anything, if Universal came out tomorrow and said, for $300, you can have an Epic Universe after 5, because the park always is closing at 10 o'clock right now, an Epic Universe ticket after 5 p.m., it's an annual pass for $300.
No.
Why?
$250.
$250?
Yep.
Why the $50 difference there?
I think $300 is too much.
You think so?
Yep. Because like $400 is when you start looking at the annual passes, like the annual passes. I would do $250.
What if
$250?
It was $250, but it had blackouts? But if it was $300, it had no blackouts.
If it wasn't a ridiculous amount of blackouts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you just told me, $250 for Christmas week and Thanksgiving is blocked and...
Yeah. I don't want to go then anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I encourage any local that wants to buy an annual pass over at Disney, look at least at the Sorcerer Pass. It is not worth it for the Incredipass at all. Because all those people that want the Incredipass, they're clearly going on Christmas week.
Yeah.
And then they're still complaining that, oh my God, it's so crowded. Well, that's why we tried to deter you away from going to it.
We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year for Epic Universe, I think. And, how many times will I go? It depends on, if these tickets can kind of go down a little bit in price.
Are they doing resident prices right now?
No. No, I think the Florida resident tickets are the same price as the annual pass, if I remember correctly.
They'll probably start doing some tiers first, and then...
The annual pass tickets are usually about $20 off a gate. Which, I mean, that's not awful, but it's just like, oh, look at how much I'm paying for an annual pass, and you're only giving me a $20 discount on the ticket. But at the same time, how many people are still utilizing that ticket as an annual pass?
Yeah.
I don't know. Guys, thank you all for listening.
We're done.
Yeah, my God. Are you going to do this every week now?
No, I just...
You're like, we're done? Oh, we're done. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 51 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, 51 minutes. I think that's fine. Guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, you can follow us on social media. I know Matt is going to be working on the social media updates with with the rebranding here of the name.
Where there's a temporary logo. It has improper grammar. We're working on it. I know. Again, this is very much in our free time we do this, so...
We have a friend that is going to be working on a more proper artwork podcast design for us.
So we will see how it goes. We're going to try and get some footage of Dinosaur this month.
Yes,
we're about ready to go to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, we are going to be going to Animal Kingdom right after this to start getting our final rides in on Dinosaur.
Well, we're waiting on the wives.
I am going to be getting a huge amount of footage what I'm planning on for Dinosaur. So in the coming weeks, please make sure that you are heading on over to DarthVader92.com and subscribing to see that footage once it comes through. I will probably have that more than likely ready when the ride closes on February 1st. So be sure to stay tuned to that. I know a lot of you could be also listening here on the YouTube channel. I know I've been kind of a little distant with footage on here, and it's just, crazy hectic schedule trying to get things done. So I look forward to trying and do more things on there throughout this year as well. I think that will be my New Year's resolution, is trying to get more content out on YouTube. So, guys, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back with you again next time for another episode of Cue the Mats.
Bye, everyone.